Electric vehicles are meant to play a large role in reducing Canada's carbon emissions, but a recent poll suggests that British Columbians are increasingly opposed to EV mandates. According to Ipsos polling, over half of BC residents are against the provincial mandate, which calls for just under a quarter of all 2026 models sold to be electric. Industry figures show demand for EVs this year is closer to 15%, which is already forcing manufacturers to artificially shrink the supply of new gas vehicles available in order to avoid being penalized, which is likely to drive up prices across the board.
A freight train of pain that's coming at BC consumers if we don't get this fixed.
Under the provincial mandate, by 2030, 90% of all cars sold in BC need to be fully electric.
The availability of vehicles that people need will drop dramatically in order to meet these arbitrary targets. The transition to electric is going to continue to happen, but it's a matter of timing, and trying to do it in a fashion that isn't going to destroy the industry and isn't going to destroy the wallets of British Columbians and Canadians.
What the recent fall in demand largely comes down to is money. The Ipsos poll also found that nearly 2/3 of BC residents see the upfront cost of an EV as the largest barrier to buying, which has been exacerbated by the clawing back of provincial and federal EV rebates as of late.
The most important thing we can do right now is actually focus on policies that help make EVs accessible today.
Clean Energy Canada, an SFU think tank aimed at expediting Canada's transition away from fossil fuels, says that the mandates have a role. They should encourage manufacturers to produce cheaper EVs that are broadly accessible.
This comes back to the regroup rather than a retreat. There's lots of, pressure right in this moment to overcorrect. Taking a look at whether 90% is fully achievable and recalibrating that to reflect market conditions is absolutely a prudent step, but we need to keep in place a really strong signal that's bringing those affordable EVs to market.
Others say the current mandates sacrifice progress for the sake of perfection and ignore important realities such as the need for charging infrastructure, even with the recent announcement of nearly $23 million of federal funding.
That old expression, putting the cart before the horse, I think applies here because we're still tooling up the infrastructure.
With 2026 models already on the lot, the auto industry is lobbying the province to pause or modify the mandate. But that won't happen overnight. Any changes will need to go through the legislature, which doesn't reconvene until October. In Vancouver, Jack Rabb, City News.